I will try to speak in English because I have a broadcast on this conference, so I would prefer them to see also what we talk here. When they asked me to talk, I had no confidence that I can make some slides. Somebody asked me to make some slides about 4 or 5 months ago, and I say, okay, wait me until I will finish the last slide. And I didn't. Even now, I didn't finish the last slide. It was 3 in the night last night, and I was collecting slides from the people who will speak here. And of course, I couldn't take care of my own slides. So in a way, I started to make these slides in this format, because unfortunately, I mean by accident, I was setting up here together with some friends a Unix user group in Romania, as I told before, exactly in the year when Internet Society was founded. Because of that small accident, I entered into contact with the first exec manager of Internet Society by email from Polytechnica, where I had students. And I could talk with him about how we did to have a CH for our association. Guru was the name of the association. And I told them, well, it is simple. I have a room in Institute of Mathematics, and they give us to us for free because near it's a bigger room where we can gather more. I mean, about 40, 50 people, maybe 70, if there are chairs. Then this guy helped some, let's say, developers of packet switch network was Logic Telecom and but Logic Telecom was Sprint. And that guy who I was interfering was the head of Sprint Virginia, was also in Sprint Virginia, and there Sprint out in Austin, Texas, sorry, and there is a CH of Internet Society. So Internet Society and Unix Association were exactly in the same year. We were sustaining free software, and thereafter, after 98, open source. We have here Linus Torvalds and Richard Stallman in Romania, as you can see by these photos. Stallman was in 94, Linus was in 95. 2 days ago, I was invited to Romanian TV, or no, a Saturday, and they asked me, do they know about this? And I say, yeah, I have a small brochure, but it was on the internet. But the internet, that guy who put it that had a website. It was a journalist, but he died. Unfortunately, life is not forever, no? And that site disappeared. But I have a small brochure, and I can send it to you. They laughed. And I say, okay, if this is what you need, I can show you the Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine was something working on the internet, which was down for 7 days. If you read the press from last week, DDoS blocked the Wayback Machine. And the Wayback Machine was essential for me to build up these slides. So that's why I stopped suddenly in making the slides. Okay, so let's come back to the subject. Subject is what happened with the internet in the ages. First was 1990-2000. I fixed here some points. What was the impact factor for development? Was a free software, open source. It was a new operating system, Linux, and the TCP/IP stack was rewritten. That's why in that period, access to software, due to the previous period where BSD was, and PDPs were the driving force, it was without a license. It was free software. So this made a huge potential for experiment and for making, for building up packages. The result was that almost all countries were connected, and you see the figures there, how many users were at the end of the period. And very strange. Immediately, it was the internationalization, the commercialization of internet. Because we did it for universities, and we, all of us, we are Unix groups. We are running in universities, but the telecom were charging so much that we were thrown out from the universities in all Europe. Why? Because deans could not pay the bills. And they tell us, oh, if you pay such bills, we can close the university. So in that moment, Romania was also connected, and some of the first internet providers appeared here. No agency for reglementation, no association, nothing. It was a wild world. And what we did, we say, we can help you, us, the Unix Association, we can help you to deal with these guys. I mean, with the government and with the infrastructure ministries and this. So we were organizing inside our association the meetings with the first ISPs, which was quite interesting because we had to agree on a subject and then give a small sheet of paper to the press and this, just write this. Don't make anything else. They understood or not, but it was fine. The speed of development here was really fast because in Romania, we had a cable TV company called Kappa who interconnected all these newcomers on the market, I mean the ISPs. Meantime, the incumbent, the Romtelecom, was almost shocked about what is happening. On their wires, which have a certain value per month, they were selling lease lines or dial-up telephone numbers, was produced 5-6 times the value that they were selling. And they were thinking, we are so stupid that we cannot make it, we will fail, these guys take all the money, and it was very strange because nobody was regulating this. I have here a good friend, which is Cătălin. He tried to put DSLAM in Romtelecom locations. And don't ask me what happened to him. He was spending weeks and nights to convince them to let him to put DSLAM and to put DSLA lines. Beginning of broadband is written here on this broadband adoption. Broadband adoptions mean Cătălin debating with Romtelecom to put those inside. So for me, it's a clear fact that I was there, and it was disaster. And then the last moment which made me very angry was when the privatization of Romtelecom, it was a minister, I don't remember now, and we wrote him a small paper and say, don't give the infrastructure to the Greek, to OTE, because we need that. Put a public operator in to control that infrastructure, and they didn't. And when the Greeks appear here, they say, you are not allowed in these ducts. These are our ducts. Thereafter, you know what happened. All the town was full of wires, all the trees were full of wires, and ProTV was showing an old lady who, in his head, felt something from the wires. And the mayor of Bucharest gathered us and says, we have to make something new. It's called Net City. Why? We could do this from the very beginning, but nobody cared about this. Look, why I say all this? Because that created a huge disproportion between what we had to do. We had to do reliable services to improve voice over IP, new IP telephony, blah, blah, blah. Everything what developed in time, because it was a huge development after 2000. But instead of this, we are concentrated to take care of the sticks, to take care of the new wires that we are, and then to pay a lot of money to some new companies which appeared like Net City in order to keep this functioning. And this was until now. I mean, it's going on. So very interesting. And, so I was disappointed, and myself, like a person, and I decided not to speak in public, but to involve in these associations could make nice things here. So I decided to have a company, to lead that company, and to subscribe to, I was a founding member of ANISP. So as a founding member of ANISP, I'm still in the board, I'm vice president for history, let's say, and in Internet Society, I'm the same. I'm Internet Society, to me, I'm also vice president for events and this. Now I go fast through to the next. So in 2010, we have the driving force was again Linus, because he invented close it. Okay, was again Linus who invented JIT. JIT was a huge resource for development, open source, and then immediately appeared GitHub. GitHub was the main place where development took place. So 2010 was a very fast development period, but simultaneously mobile telephony, and this period had another very inflection point, important point. Steve Jobs, after 20 years, presented the iPhone. This was a shock for everybody, because he was taking care of that project 20 years. The first tests were in Hewlett-Packard, in Hewlett-Packard laboratory for the retina and all those things that you use now daily with the smartphones. And when he presented the iPhone, he was telling like this: no matter what you do, I will change the world economy. I will change it in a way that you will see that you have to adapt to what I did. I agreed, half, because it was exactly the opposite. Stallman was, everything has to be free. Nothing has to be with copyright. Everything has to be to copyleft. And Jobs think, I do something that everybody has to take care of this and to push development of economy. Well, very nice. But suddenly, some guys invented Facebook, LinkedIn, social networks. Social network appeared in the 20s. I mean, in 2012, I was asked by Internet Society to tell my opinion about social networks. And my opinion on social networks was something like this. Social networks, I have a slide for techie users what to do with social networks. And techie users were very interesting advice. So I can put that slide if I find it on my laptop. And for non-tech, and I had a slide, for techie users I have a slide, an empty slide. And say for techie users, the only thing important is to have 1 hour in open air daily. If you are a techie user developing social networks, you need absolutely 1 hour in open air, eventually interacting with humans. Hello, Tofi. And the other slide for the techie users was very, very crowded with lines, and there are some interesting advices. And I told them, look, this social network is very good. Zuckerman had a very good idea, but take care. Maybe we will not be so creative. And they didn't believe me so much. But I was looking to the internet packets through my network. I control, you may imagine that I cannot stay at home and look on the TV. So I looked to some black screens with packets going here and there. And I'm interested what the new guys are doing, what the students are doing, what are the new generation doing. 10 years, 15 years ago, I could see a lot of activity. I mean, building servers. It's a student camp where I take care of the plugs, of the internet plugs. And by analyzing the traffic from the internet plugs, I can understand what they do, more or less, because I don't, privacy is privacy. I see that they did a lot of tricky things 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and now I see everybody is looking to streaming. And one day I told them, you looking to podcasts? Very interesting. 1 million guys look to a podcast, and 2 guys are dying. Who cares? How can you interact with all this? This is something wrong. These guys has to interact like in the beginning. But how we can reverse that process? And here it was a very, very long discussion about free software. And when I went to a restaurant from that conference, I suddenly could see that there are 20 young people around me asking how we did the beginning. And it was fine. I talked with them and I remain connected with them even now. So that's the way it happened with social networks, and this is from 2010, 2012, 2015, let's say. Then suddenly blockchain. Then suddenly, Phil Zimmermann told me in '94 that encryption is the only solution for security, and now he will speak in the afternoon. I'm very happy because Zimmermann was here in 1994. He presented PGP, who was his invention at that time, pretty good privacy. But he was not allowed to present here. Why? Because it was a COCOM restriction. Romania was not clear where it will go, east or west. They were wondering. Some guys are looking to some tables and say, okay, he presented that and he went to America, and on the JFK airport, some guys stopped him. What you did? You exported algorithms, cryptology algorithms in Romania. You are not allowed to do this. And now in MIT Press, 95 book written by Zimmermann, is this small story about Romania. And 1 month ago, I talked to him and say, can you make it? Yes, but remotely. I can talk at your conference. So I put it a title like this. From PGP to the current encryption and modern cybersecurity systems, something like this, something general. I said, no, delete everything and write like this. End-to-end encryption is the only solution for national security. And it was fine because I'm expecting him to enlarge and to say how blockchain appeared and many things. So we want to interact with him. He will be online and in the afternoon. At 4 or 5. I would be happy you to be here also. He will be introduced by me. It's a friend of mine, a new friend of mine. Yeah. Okay, so this happened, Now, last year we made 30 years of internet, and they asked me at the association, so 30 years has passed by, those guys who didn't die, because some died, are here with us. What we do something next year? And I say, yes, maybe. What do you think? I think, let's talk about artificial intelligence, hyperclouds, and everything emerging from the period of IoT until now, and what will happen in the future next 6 years. Oh, we cannot handle that. We are not so advanced. And I say, no, don't fear. We just make a debate. We came all the players. I mean, we came the telecom here in the room. We called the big companies like Oracle, like Amazon, like let's say IBM and Tony Kaye working. It's in Red Hat, but he's a very nice development guy. He would interact also with some students here. And telecom, these developers, and us. There are some people here from Internet Society and authorities. Authorities, of course, very important because we have to clarify how we can make the infrastructure, for example, in my opinion, but you may say it's a bad opinion, how we make the infrastructure a public utility. And come back to the 90s when we asked Romtelecom to make the TUX public utility. If we make the infrastructure a public utility, competition will be only on content, on speed, on connectivity, on other ideas, on applications, not on infrastructure. But let's see. So that will be debated. I think from this moment we'll start the conference more or less. and we will talk about all these aspects. Anyway, now I want to invite Adina Florea. I talked about the internet. If you didn't get me, I talked about the internet. Okay, Adina will talk about AI because we need this introduction. Thank you.